Hey everybody, it is Tara Green here. How are you doing? It is June 21st. We are on a very, very special, rare summer solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere and a full moon. This full moon is very special because the moon is rising at its most southerly in the sky. So it's going to be walking on the ground kind of from the Northern Hemisphere and way up high in the sky in the southern. And it only does that once every 18.6 years. So it is called a lunastice. It's like a solstice. So we're having a solstice and a lunastice together. Again, you can watch this live at Stonehenge because they believe now that Stonehenge was created to mark, they know the solstices, but probably also this lunar standstill. So the sun will appear to stay still in the sky for 3 days. That's what solstice means. And the moon will also appear to be full in the sky for 3 days. So at 1 degree of Capricorn, 7 minutes, you can see there, this chart is set for Washington, D.C. The full moon is at 9:08 p.m. That's Eastern Daylight Time, 6:08 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And it's the next day. It is June 22nd at 1:08 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So here you can see the aspects here. There's, of course, the sun and the moon. Venus is also in Cancer along with Mercury. So 3, it's a triple Cancer solstice full moon here. So it's going to be very moody, very emotional, very watery. It's been raining like crazy here, actually, up here in Toronto. Very hot, very humid. I think there's been heat records broken all over the place in North America here. But the planets, also the moon and Mercury and Venus, are all moving what's called out of bounds, which means they're beyond the declination that the sun can reach because it sits on the ecliptic. As long as the Earth's axis are tilted to where they are right now and nothing moves, the sun is bound by the Tropic of Cancer right now. That is sitting right on the Tropic of Cancer. That is what the Cancer season is all about. It's the sun sitting at that northernmost boundary, Tropic of Cancer, in the Northern Hemisphere, marking summer up here. And then it moves, of course, this is seasonal tropical astrology. The sun will then move throughout the year or two, sitting on the equator, and then sitting on the Tropic of Capricorn, and then sitting on the equator again in the spring. This is the best time to get 3-month, 6-month, 9-month, or even a year ahead forecasts. I'm offering those at 10% off if you want to take advantage of that kind offer. I want to mention a couple other things here. Neptune is at the 29th degree of Pisces. Now, it's going to be there off and on. I've written about this on my blog here. When planets are at the very last degree, it's called a critical or an anaretic degree. Pluto is going to move back to that degree, and this is very important, from September the 1st to November the 19th. Those two planets, Pluto and Neptune, what they're called outer transpersonal planets, are still very personal, but they're sextiling each other. They're going to be 60 degrees apart exactly, and so really empowering each other. So when these outer planets are aligned, they create great generational change, great cultural change like they have all along. So Neptune is opposite Lilith. Lilith is up there at 29 degrees of Virgo, actually. And so the power of the dark feminine, this is now the switchover from the ascension of the light. This is when the Sun King is at its peak on the solstice, and then he dies and switches his light over to the feminine side. So everything's always in a complementary balance, and that's a good thing. So Lilith up there in Virgo is all about listening to our gut instincts. Neptune ruling Pisces, the intuition, the spiritual, the imaginal, the letting go, the surrendering of the ego, the realizing that everything is spiritual. And of course, as Saturn and Neptune get closer and closer, you could say that they're already starting to form a relationship, but Saturn is going to turn retrograde on the 29th at 19 degrees of Pisces, where it is right now. So we're getting kind of a little bit of a preview of a Saturn-Neptune conjunction, let's say, and then Saturn is going to move backwards until it's back to 12 degrees, and then it's going to take until the spring of 2025 till it's back to where it is now. But Neptune opposite Lilith is very powerful. So again, listen to your gut instincts about your real feelings, what's going on deep down. The body never lies. And again, the real type of in-depth therapy right now is emotional body knowledge. And of course, the moon in Capricorn, they don't like to feel the emotions. So maybe this is a good thing with the Sun, Venus, and Mercury out of bounds. not the sun, it can never go out of bounds, Mercury, Venus, and the moon all out of bounds, can feel kind of crazy. I have been feeling the energy kind of very off, very wonky. Mercury is at the almost the extent of its declination too, and one of the astrologers was mentioning it feels like a Mercury retrograde, which it does. So Saturn, the ruler of this Capricorn full moon, again, I've spoken about that one. Saturn very stationary in the sky. Integrate some heavy karmic lessons, or maybe some things that you didn't want to deal with, you didn't want to face. This is good for shadow work. Pluto is in conjunct the Sun and Venus here. So again, there's power struggles. This could be Pluto in Aquarius is AI, big superpowers launching up to do some kind of high-tech assault is the word that I'm coming to. Juno, the feminine form of genius, the month of June is named after her, is right at the middle degree of Virgo, along with Ceres at 17 degrees. Mars is at 12 degrees, so there's some earthy planets there. Uranus, of course, is in Taurus, along with Jupiter's now in Gemini, but there's Uranus at 25 degrees, also sextiling Neptune and Saturn. So these outer planets are kind of bringing in sort of new generational influences, I would say. Ceres is opposite Mercury in Cancer, and Ceres is very much the great mother. So it's time to be with family, to nurture, to be by water, to stay grounded. We can feel the shifting sands of time. That's what Saturn rules, very much that sense of it would be great to just go to a beach and watch the water kind of come and go, ebb and flow. Chiron is up to 23 degrees of Aries there, sextiling the sun there kind of widely, but it's still there in Aries. The North Node is at 12 degrees of Aries, squaring Ceres and squaring Mercury as well. So again, the impetus here is on new beginnings in terms of defending yourself, thinking for yourself, breaking away from the past, really forging your own way. But it's very much a war signature, North Node in Aries. And you can see there's lots of conflict, lots of protests, lots of, with Pluto and Aquarius as well, lots of protests going on in the world. But there's a whole new world that's starting to be formed. Vesta, the root word of investments, is at 0 Leo. This is about gold. I talked about this in the solstice reading, investing in gold, investing in what's in your heart, because, the sun rules Leo. And so investing in your heart, in your pride, in your willpower, but not false pride. This is really the heart that knows. Again, it's the heart that knows, the body that knows, not our heads. That's just the regulating factor. So Vesta opposite Pluto, what is really worth investing in yourself to change? There's a whole new game change going on. We all know that with AI, with the age of Aquarius upon us, how are we going to change up our game? What's in our heart? So I would take time out at this point in the year and reflect. I am going to go up north. Actually, with my husband, we're taking a little break to house sit some friends of ours in the country. I think I need some sit and get some new perspective. That'll be a good thing. But I will be available for readings. And sometimes when I'm in the country, there's a kind of clarity and a kind of different energy that I'm connecting with there. Hopefully, I'm going to see some northern lights from the big sunspots that have been going on. But again, this is all about nurture, Cancer time, family. There can be some old woundings, childhood woundings that are coming up that you need to deal with as well. Family issues with Jupiter and Gemini. This is all about siblings, family, short journeys, things like that. So definitely, when the time is right, you have to work with divine timing. It is time to process your emotions. It's time to nurture yourself, to play with your inner child, to let them come out and have fun, to be with family, to be generous, to feel needed, to need others. I mean, that's very much the Cancer in mothering, nurturing, very fertile, actually, with all of that Cancerian energy. So I would also be very aware to pay attention to your dreams with Neptune at the last degree of Pisces, because that's energy is very, very strong right now. So if you do want to get in touch with me for a 3-month forecast till the autumn, or a 6-month forecast till we're at winter solstice, or a 9-month, like this is a conception Cancerian moment, get in touch with me at tarottarot.com. I'd be happy to do a reading for you. You'll get the best, most in-depth insights that you've ever had. Okay, sending you many blessings on this auspicious, very rare solstice, lunar happening. Okay, blessings of the day to you.